I don't believe my cartoons are meant to drive home a moral. I don't think my cartoons are meant to set things right in a society. I do it to please myself first. If it has any beneficial effect on society, it is purely accidental, not intentional.
K Laxman entertained and stimulated millions of us for more than 40 years. He has been a brilliant commentator on current affairs ever since the early years of independence, always fresh, original and scintillating, highlighting reality by lifting it into the realm of absurdity.
A political cartoon is basically a satirical comment. It's not a joke, it's not a funny thing. It is deeper than that. The art of satire, though, belongs to the genus of humor. There is no dialectical, open moralizing, but a subtle comment, adverse comment, because a cartoon is an art of disapproval and criticism. It has to be a very destructive one. Slowly it will develop and make you think. While you think, you laugh. That is satire. That is the purpose of political cartooning.
Laxman's wife Kamala is a writer of children's books. She is an understanding and helpful companion.
Did that fellow come? Am I Mandana? Bell at Chinde? Yare? Still he has not come. 11? Is it 11 now?
No, 15 minutes.
Well, when he comes from Vandana and Vandu Pakistan.
Right. Okay.
Do that.
Laxman often writes and illustrates his own books.
So I've written a novel, another half is on the way, and I write travelogues and short stories. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to devote to these things. One day, perhaps after I retire, I will devote myself to that.
Here he deals with the ramifications of management and the bureaucracy in hilarious fashion. Among the many national and international plaudits Laxman has received are the Padma Bhushan and the Magsaysay Award. The citation refers to his incisive, witty, never malicious cartoons illuminating India's political and social life. Kamala has known Laxman since his childhood.
Ever since he was a child, Laxman was so interested in human faces that he just couldn't resist caricaturing anybody he came across, particularly his school teachers. And I must say, not all of them took it with a sense of humor. Quite a few of them were annoyed and brought it to the notice of the elders, who naturally scolded Laxman and asked him not to indulge in this art. But nothing prevented Laxman from carrying it on from years to years. And I suppose this is the result of all the years of struggle and patience and effort. Somehow he sees face not with the angle we do, but something so different, and that the essence of the human being he sees.
I started drawing very early in my age, I think, when I was a child. I was about 3, I remember, when our class teacher set the lesson saying that we should all draw, about 20 children in the class, a leaf. Somehow a simple thing like leaf confused the children and they were wondering how it looked. But I was able to immediately set to work and drew a leaf, and the teacher liked it so much because in that leaf he said that I had shown not only the leaf but the correct placement of its veins and ribs. I alternated the veins so well, he said, that I had a very good power of observation. That made me feel that I was an artist, and I could draw. Since then I have never stopped drawing. I came to Bombay seeking a profession. I was fascinated by the city because it had so much of color in it. The hustle and bustle of the city was really thrilling. But the more interesting thing was, I found the entire Bombay was being dug up and put right once again, as if they are building Bombay afresh. Well, I've stayed on for 40 years here. They are still digging and trying to put it in shape.
He has an amazing capacity for capturing the mood and faces of people in a city or a situation. He once dabbled with film posters and regularly caricatured film personalities.
When I became the cartoonist, things were happening in our country. Whenever a policy was mooted, it applied to almost everyone in our country. I couldn't be drawing hundreds of people to say this plan applies to them. So I used to just vaguely show, say, about 20 people with turban, without turban, with bald head, and so on and so forth, to show the people of India. But cartooning consumes a lot of time. I had a deadline to meet. So as time went by, instead of drawing 20 different people, I started drawing, say, about 10. I made it 5. Still I was short of time. So I made it 3. Still I was hard pressed for time. And one day eliminated 2 more. Then I found an old man, bewildered, in striped coat, bald head, with toothbrush mustache, gaping at me. This common man has never spoken. Perhaps he symbolizes the mute millions of India.
Laxman has visually captured almost every well-known Indian and world personality for 2 generations.
Cabinet ministers like Patel, Rajendra Prasad, Rajagopalachari, Jagjeevan Ram, they had definitive features which I could use, twist, distort, but Nehru could not be distorted. He was a handsome man. I used to find him in my cartoons rather rigid and wooden. One day accidentally I somehow failed to put the white cap on his bald pate and inked the drawing and found that he had come alive. From then on, I never put the cap on. In fact, Mr. Nehru asked me once, "Why have you done this?" I replied, "It stifles your style, sir, for the cartoonist." He laughed, of course. He had a great sense of humor.
Laxman was always sympathetic to Nehru and seemed to understand the 1,000 bewildering problems that Jawaharlal was called upon to face.
I've come across politicians whom I have caricatured, whom I have ridiculed, whom I have made fun of. They've always congratulated me on my cartoon and said, "Wonderful work, Mr. Laxman, keep it up. I like your cartoon, making fun of me today. But, you got me wrong. I didn't say that, and you have drawn that. All that I said was this." So he starts telling me how to draw. But many others have viewed my attempt to ridicule them in a very healthy manner and complimented me. Cartoon is basically an art of the visual, and I believe a good drawing must support an idea.
Each cartoon highlights a national problem. Here is how he visualized the imminent fall of the Janata government and the ensuing elections of 1980.
As a cartoonist, I will have to be completely conversant with what is happening in the entire nation, the entire world. The ideas come only after reading.
Laxman obviously has deep social concerns. For instance, apartheid and the indifference of many Western countries to racialism. Although the world of diplomacy is of interest to Laxman, his exposition is anything but diplomatic.
Naturally, I can't be isolated from it. If that bomb falls, I will also be destroyed. That's why I'm worried. It's purely a selfish, self-preserving attempt.
Disarmament is a world issue. But what about violence at home?
Violence is bad. Once violence is tasted, it's a man-eating thing. Once it tastes blood, it will be moving about it without any restriction. That is happening in our country now. Man-eater could be destroyed only by completely annihilating it. I don't belong to any political ideology. My ideology is common sense approach to the problems of the country.
The damage done by linguistic, regional and communal squabbling often feature in Laxman's work.
Given a theme, it is always possible to turn it into a humorous situation. A humorous situation can be turned into a comic strip. A comic strip can be turned into a film.
Laxman has contributed to the making of animation films dealing with civic problems. Laxman is concerned about our educational system, or non-educational system, and this is reflected in the affectionate cards he designs for his son every year.
Hello.
Laxman and Kamala have one son and a daughter-in-law. A small family, warm and informal.
This is most uncomfortable.
Next thing, Bombay.
I don't think it will be cold.
Taking a photograph was too late.
See them there, then you can take them.
Okay, thank you.
Laxman has been, and is, a great traveller. Every one of his journeys captures sharp images of different places and faces.
My work is a very taxing one. People don't realize it. It's the most painful, agonizing experience. Every day I go to the office, whatever I take up, I put my heart into it, and I've got only one heart, and I can't be putting it in everything. By the time I go home, I'm damn tired and don't want to look at anything that has to do with politics. So I rest and relax by drawing freely cats, birds, crows, anything that comes my way.
When Laxman is fed up of affairs of state, he paints in oils and watercolors.
I illustrate a children's book for my wife. That is a very relaxing pastime, I find.
He has illustrated the work of his brother, R.K. Narayan, the novelist, and often drifts away to draw images of his own fancy.
When I get tired of holding a pencil, I go on repairing clocks and repairing anything that comes my way, even if it doesn't need any repair.
என்ன அதுல இருக்கு பாஸ்டா போறதா மண்ணா போறதா then we will put it right.
When he has had enough of paper, he turns to copper.
Cartoonist is born, not made, because schools of art don't teach how to distort a figure. That comes from within the individual artist. Besides the ability to draw, the cartoonist must also have a sense of humor.
Laxman is constantly aware of happenings in the world at large and in his own country. He is especially dear to readers in India because he seems always to take up the cause of the common man, the average housewife. He lampoons the pomposity of politicians, and he is a constant reminder of what a government should be doing for the people. If only those who shape the destiny of the nation took a cartoonist seriously. But perhaps they do, who knows? Perhaps that is a secret wish in Laxman's heart.